Our story begins with Trunks and Vegeta engaged in training, one in base and the other as a Super Saiyan. Vegeta smiles as he realizes his son has improved since the last time they fought. Not bad, Trunks. That punch almost stung a little. You've been training well. I'm impressed. Trunks responds blushing, "Ha, thanks Dad, but you haven't seen anything yet. Watch this!" And in an instant, Trunks rushes at super speed directly to his father. But with ease, Vegeta with just one arm blocks every attack before finally neutralizing him. And immediately without restraint and in one kick to the stomach, Trunks is beaten down to base and moans to Vegeta. "Ouch! That one hurt way too much, Dad! Mom told you to take it easy on me. You've gotten way stronger since you went to Yardrat. It's not fair." Vegeta smirks and laughs. "Sorry son, but if the gap between us is only widening, it only just means you aren't improving enough. How can you even call yourself a Saiyan when you've been stuck as Super Saiyan for years now? It's pathetic. By your age, Kakarot's firstborn was already a Super Saiyan too. There's still a long way for you to go, my son." Trunks hears his father's words and is disappointed in himself, at first saying, "Well, to be honest, I guess you're right, Dad, but Mom never lets me fight in any of the big battles anymore. From what Gohan told me, he used to fight everyone, including that Frieza and Cell guy when he was my age. All I have to train with is Goten, but he's only a Super Saiyan as well. Oh yeah, that reminds me, I'm supposed to go see him. See you later, Dad." Wait! Vegeta is both immediately startled and angered, saying, "This is exactly why you aren't improving, Trunks. Why do you even see Kakarot's brat so often anyway? You have all the toys in the world over here." Trunks thinks for a moment and replies, "Well, he is my best friend after all. We've been playing together since we were babies. I'm always going to have a great bond with him. You know what I mean, right? Actually, Dad, who was your best friend growing up? Was it Goten's dad?" For a moment, Vegeta thinks on Trunks' words and inadvertently imagines himself and Goku holding hands like best friends, before then getting a disgusted face and yells, "No! Definitely not that clown! We aren't even friends now! Just go! You don't need to know about my best friend, Trunks." Trunks thinks to himself, "Oh dear, looks like I hit a nerve with Dad on that one. I wonder why he can't admit how much he likes Goku." Trunks then laughs and then says, "Okay, if you say so, Dad. I'll be back for dinner." And then Trunks flies off, leaving Vegeta behind. As Vegeta watches Trunks fly off, he begins to think deeper about the concept of a best friend. Vegeta then thinks to himself about who his childhood best friend really was. He thinks back and has visions of people from his past. First his father, then Raditz, and then finally, he sees Nappa. And with great regret, a huge flood of flashbacks enter Vegeta's mind, of how Nappa was there when he was just a baby, as he grew to be a young boy, then a young adult, and then finally, how it all ended, with he himself being the one to kill his closest ever friend. Vegeta immediately then puts his hand on his face and for the first time feels shame for his actions. He says to himself, "I did that to my best friend. All those years serving me without a word back, since birth, and I forsaked him like he was nothing. I was no better than Frieza, and I've left him to rot in hell ever since. I have to make this right. I can't let him think I didn't ever care or think of him as a friend." Vegeta then proceeds to put his shirt back on as he gets ready to visit Nappa for the first time in over 20 years. He hopefully will apologize and rectify the mistakes of his past. He then begins to place 2 fingers on his head, preparing for instant transmission, wondering, so let's get a lock on to Nappa. He'd be in hell surely. Before before suddenly realizing he doesn't even know where hell is. Realizing he can't do this alone, he angrily mutters, I'm actually going to have to ask that clown for help. Why is he involved in every story arc? We then see the scene switch to Goku, who is fishing by himself. We hear him realize he's just got a catch. It's time. Instantly pulls out a massive catch. Goku can't help but smile, saying, now that's what I call a fish. Chi-Chi's gonna love this. He then pulls his catch just as Vegeta arrives via instant transmission. Standing in front of his now comically large fish, he notices Vegeta and begins, hey Vegeta, what brings you here? Finally want to train with me for a bit? Vegeta, however, then begins to explain the real reason he's here, and how he needs to be taken to hell in order to meet with Nappa again. Goku, however, is at first confused, thinking, Nappa? Nappa? Why does that name seem so familiar? Was he that purple guy who stole my body on Namek? Why would you want to see him? Vegeta, with literal disbelief, looks at Goku thinking to himself, this idiot never fails to amaze me, before suddenly angrily yelling, no you imbecile, that was Captain Ginyu! Nappa is the guy you broke the back of on Earth when I first arrived! How do you confuse a Saiyan with a purple monster with horns? Goku then replies, oh, that guy! Oh yeah, I don't think he'll be too happy to see me after what I did. Oh wait, even you killed him, didn't you? Vegeta, however, still slightly ashamed, looks back with silence. Suddenly Goku then realizes, wait, are you wanting to see him to apologize? Over 20 years later? Think it might just be a bit too late for that one. Vegeta, who is now holding in his rage at Kakarot's questioning, then explodes, yelling, just shut up and take me, clown! And so Goku grabs onto Vegeta and the two teleport to hell, with Goku commenting as they leave, whatever you say Vegeta, just try not to cry when you apologize. The scene then changes to a strange landscape, the part of hell provided for low-level villains such as Nappa. Goku and Vegeta then arrive eventually, and then immediately Vegeta looks around and questions, this is supposed to be hell? Where the hell are we? I expected much worse conditions than this. I don't even see anyone around here, you clown. Vegeta, frustrated, then grabs Goku by the collar and yells further, I asked you to do one thing, and one thing only, and you couldn't even do that. I knew I should have done this myself the minute you thought Nappa was Captain Ginyu. Goku, then trying to calm down the situation, replies, Vegeta, relax. He should be around here somewhere. I went straight to his key signature. Why don't we try powering up to lure him out? But as he says this, a large shadow covers them as something big falls from above. Suddenly a massive figure smashes to the ground, intending to eliminate them. But Goku and Vegeta, of course, dodge at the last second. And standing there before them is an enraged Nappa, who clearly hasn't forgotten the past and yells, ah, Princess Vegeta! How nice of you to visit me after all these years. I never did get to thank you for sending me here for the rest of eternity. Allow me to thank you now, and make sure you stay and never leave either. And suddenly then attacks Vegeta, which Vegeta avoids as if he's moving in slow motion. Vegeta remains calm, however, understanding how Nappa has every right to feel angry, and tries to interject, saying, Nappa, listen to me. I have something to say to you. Just give me a moment and calm down. But Nappa then responds with even more rage. I don't need to listen to you ever again, punk. You aren't my prince, nor my king. Our ties are dead after what you did, and I won't stop till you feel the same pain that I did. I'm not the same as I was before, and you will learn the power of a Saiyan elite today. Vegeta looks back speechless, knowing that there's no way he can verbally calm down such an enraged Saiyan, and then quietly says, Fine, Nappa. So be it. You gave me no choice. So just sit there and watch. And as he finishes saying this, Vegeta's eyes then begin to turn green and his hair shifts from black to blonde. Before... he then transforms into a Super Saiyan right before Nappa's eyes. Nappa cannot even believe what he's seeing as his mouth opens wider than it has ever before. He begins muttering, Vegeta! It can't be! Is that the legendary Super Saiyan? Vegeta responds cockily, Why yes. Yes it is, Nappa. So you can carry on trying to attack me in vain, or just settle down and listen to what I have to say. Nappa, with a now disappointed and slightly angered look, then says, Of course, this had to happen. Why else would you have come here so confidently? So, I guess the legends were true, and you were the legend that came every 1,000 years, just as King Vegeta had prophesied. The now humbled and calmed down Nappa admits defeat and says, I guess there isn't much hope in fighting a Super Saiyan. I'll listen to what you have to say. But then suddenly spots Goku from the corner of his eye and yells, But just because I'm going to listen to you doesn't mean I don't need to get revenge on the low-class Kakarot too! I'll get you back for breaking my spine if it's the last thing I do, low-class scum! And immediately rushes in at Goku, who just calmly watches on. But in an instant, Nappa is stopped in his tracks, as Goku grabs his arm as a Super Saiyan as well. Nappa begins to mutter, Kakarot? You're a Super Saiyan too? It just can't be. You're low-class scum. Can someone explain? How are there two Super Saiyans of legend? But suddenly Vegeta interrupts. Nappa, stop! Huh? Immediately, Nappa looks to his side and notices Vegeta bowing down for the first time since meeting Beerus, apologizing finally to Nappa. He begins, Nappa, I didn't come here to cause you any problems. I wanted to explain. When I was younger, I was lost. Being under the rule of that tyrant Frieza and watching my only father bow down to his weakness made me lose sight of everything that was important and seek only power. What I lost sight of was you too, and everything you did for me as I grew up. Over time, I realized this. I learned again the meaning of friends and family and started one of my own. I tried to hide away the sins of my past and never faced them head on, but I was wrong to do so. Nappa, I want to tell you today, you were my closest friend, and I will never forgive myself for sending you down here after everything. I'm sorry, Nappa. Immediately after hearing these words he couldn't even imagine could ever come out of the prince's mouth, tears begin to stream down the massive Saiyan's face. Without warning, Nappa yells, Vegeta! I've waited my whole life for you to say those words! My prince, you were my closest friend too. He hugs Vegeta and continues, I forgive you, but my only regret now is that what is done is done. This may be the final time I see you for a while. I don't expect you to visit me in hell often, but until we meet again, I'll be waiting, no matter how long it takes. Vegeta, however, then smirks and replies, Well, there may be one way we can undo things, Nappa. You remember the Earth's Dragon Balls, don't you? So our story begins after Vegeta just mentioned to Nappa that the Earth's Dragon Balls exist and there is a possibility that they could revive him after all these years. Immediately, Nappa reacts shocked, saying, Huh? The Earth's Dragon Balls? It's been so long down here, I completely forgot about those strange balls you were obsessed over. I remember now. 7 balls with the ability to grant the user any wish, including immortality. But didn't I kill that green alien man? I thought when he died, the Dragon Balls were gone too. But Vegeta of course just looks back with a smirk and his arms folded saying, "Oh Nappa, a lot has happened since those times. You forget just how long you've been dead. That Namekian is alive and well." Following this, Vegeta then begins to explain everything that's happened so far in the Dragon Ball universe since the Saiyan saga, understandably slightly overwhelming the massive Saiyan. Nappa is left with a bemused face as he responds, "Wow, to think, Frieza was finally taken down after all these years by a Saiyan, and by that low-class softy Kakarot of all people. Well, I guess he is a Super Saiyan after all, which explains it a bit. But Vegeta, you too are a Super Saiyan as well. Why weren't you the one to defeat Frieza after everything he did to us and your father? Don't tell me, is Kakarot stronger than you now?" Vegeta, now triggered, looks back with an awkward face and his eyes closed, thinking on what to say, before yelling to his former subordinate, "No! Of course not! I am the Prince of all Saiyans! And don't you forget it! There's no way I'd ever let such a clown get close to my strength. I'm way more powerful than Kakarot. He just managed to get to Frieza before I could. That's all." Goku, hearing this, looks back with a smile and his hand behind his head, just letting Vegeta lie so he can have his moment, saying quietly, Yep, Vegeta sure is on another level. If anything, Frieza was lucky I beat him. I'm sure Vegeta would have made it a lot more painful for him. Right, Mr. Prince?" "Yes, anyway." Vegeta, now trying to change the subject, then places his arm on Nappa's shoulder and tells him quickly, "Anyway, it's going to take some time for me to gather the Dragon Balls, Nappa. There are a few things that need to be done first. But you have my word, I will bring you back, my friend." Nappa, hearing Vegeta's conviction, looks back with unease at first, remembering what happened the last time he trusted Vegeta, but then lets off a smile and tells Vegeta, "Got it, my prince. I'll wait as long as it takes. Not like I'm not used to this place anyway. But until we meet again, I'll be looking forward to it." And so the scene then shifts to Kami's lookout, where Goku and Vegeta decided to head immediately after meeting Nappa. They soon then summon all of the Z fighters, including Krillin and Yamcha, Gohan and Piccolo, and finally Tien Shinhan. And with their faces all serious hearing about what Goku and Vegeta had gotten up to, Vegeta finishes his monologue saying, "And so, I plan on now reviving Nappa and bringing him here, back to Earth." Immediately, every one of the Z Fighters' faces reacts in shock, but particularly angry is Tien Shinhan, who of course died battling Nappa and also watched as his best friend Chaozu died trying to defeat him. Upon having a flashback to those events, Tien shouts, "No way in hell, Vegeta! We are never going to revive that monster after what he did! I will play no part in this game!" Tien then, in anger but slightly intimidated, moves over to confront Vegeta and continues, "I don't know what crazy scheme you and Goku are up to, but you're only putting the Earth, us, and your family in danger. I expected this kind of short-sighted thinking from Goku, but from you, after all we've been through, I'm disappointed you'd even think this was acceptable." With a stern look on his face, he then points directly at Vegeta and continues his tirade, saying, "You know, I've never fully trusted you, but after all these years, I've only just come to accept you, Vegeta, as having changed. And that was while you were here on Earth, surrounded by all of us, fighting to protect us and your family. Nappa, on the other hand, has been in hell this entire time, surrounded by other villains. He cannot and should not be trusted, Vegeta. Don't play with this planet's people's lives. He may not be Frieza or Cell, but he still has the power to blow this entire planet up on a moment's notice. However, Vegeta, now angered with Tien's commands, remains unconvinced and replies, "And so too do you and I, Tien. It's been over 20 years, and you still can't get over it? So much for being a monk. I thought you people were more forgiving than this. He is of no harm to any of us now, Tien. Even you, at your pathetic power level, could beat him, I bet. If he steps out of line, I'll send him to the next dimension once again. You have my word, you three-eyed freak." "What did you say?" Instantly, Tien then reacts in anger, with his fist shaking, yelling, "Why you? Vegeta! I'll make you take that back!" Before suddenly, Goku then intervenes and gets in the middle of them to stop them from fighting, saying, "Tien, that's enough. Don't get so agitated by Vegeta. This isn't like you." Meanwhile, Vegeta continues smiling cockily, knowing all too well what would happen if Tien actually challenged him, provoking him further. "It seems you'd rather die by my hand first than see Nappa return. No problem. I don't mind killing two birds with one stone." But eventually Krillin and Gohan then begin speaking, and Krillin says, Listen guys, I don't like the idea of reviving Nappa as much as the next guy. To tell you the truth, I haven't got good memories of him either. But Goku, if you think this is a good idea, then I'm with you. I'll help get the Dragon Balls if you really think he's changed. I mean, after all, Vegeta seems to have changed. Gohan then adds, "I feel the same. I'm with you, Dad, on anything you decide. The last time I saw Nappa, I was a cowardly child. I couldn't do anything to him. But this time, it would be different if he returned to his evil ways. There's no way he's stronger than us now, let alone you, Dad." And following this, Piccolo then solemnly says, "Given that Kami's inside of me, the former guardian of the Earth, I see it as my duty to also help with this, so I can watch over the events. Like Gohan said, if he steps out of line, we'll be here. And anyway, since he already killed me once, it's only right I return the favor." Vegeta then smiles at their responses and finally says, "Alright, let's get moving then. Bulma brought loads of Dragon Ball scouters. Take one and find the Dragon Balls as fast as you can and report back here. A day should be enough for us at most." And eventually, after some time, indeed all of the Z-Fighters do go out and grab the Dragon Balls, with even Vegeta's son Trunks chipping in along with Chaozu too. And within just a few hours, all 7 Dragon Balls are retrieved and once again brought to Kami's lookout, where Dende watches on with a smile, ready to oversee Shenron's summoning. And before we know it, Vegeta shouts and summons forth Shenron, who in a bright beam of light arises in dramatic fashion. Eventually, however, the dragon then commands,
"I am Shenron. Name your first wish."
Vegeta, however, pauses for a moment and just looks on at the dragon with a smile, thinking to himself how this is actually the first time he's ever been in a position to use the Dragon Balls, and ironically, to bring back Nappa. A few decades earlier, and Vegeta would have stood there with Nappa, wishing for immortality. But eventually Vegeta comes to his senses and looks back at Goku for reassurance that his wish is the right thing to do. To which Goku then gives a thumbs up back saying, "Go for it, Vegeta. Let's give Nappa a warm welcome." Meanwhile, Shenron, who's been waiting through this, pushes them for an answer, repeating,
Ahem! As I asked earlier, what is your first wish?
And waiting no longer, Vegeta then commands the dragon and asks Shenron, "I wish for you to revive a Saiyan known as Nappa and bring him back to Earth." Shenron initially takes a moment to see if the wish is within his power before finally replying,
Your wish shall be granted.
And his eyes then begin to glow. And just like that, in a bright beam of light that hits the base of the lookout, Nappa finally returns to the living world, with a face that is full of confusion at the sudden change in scenery. Soon, however, a smile forms on Nappa's face as he then looks at his hand and says, I'm back! I'm finally alive! Before then spotting Vegeta and yelling immediately with a bright smile, "Vegeta! My prince! You did it! You really did it! I knew I could trust you this time." And following this outburst, Nappa runs uncontrollably to hug Vegeta, but awkwardly and comedically, Vegeta breaks out as fast as he can as Vegeta says while blushing, "No more hugs, Nappa! That's enough for one lifetime." Remembering how Nappa did the same thing back in Hell. With Nappa responding, right, okay, I understand. My apologies, Prince Vegeta. I guess you don't want me to embarrass you in front of all your new Earthling friends, huh? Nappa then eventually takes in his surroundings and notices Piccolo, Tien, Chaozu and Yamcha all staring at him with a disapproving look and notes to Vegeta, "So, looks like all those squirts I killed got revived too. I guess you've had these special Dragon Balls for a long time." But as he continues talking with Vegeta, in the background they notice that Kami's lookout begins to suddenly rumble, and a power level begins to rise. Goku notes saying, "Huh? I can sense a powerful energy. It's close. Who is it?" Before looking back and seeing Tien with an angry face and him beginning to slowly power up due to his rage erupting. "I won't forgive you!" All the Z-Fis then begin to cover themselves and stare at Tien while his power continues to rise and begins to create wind and dust that blows past everyone. Nappa then looks at Tien with a confused face, realizing that he recognizes him from somewhere, saying, "That Baldy! Where have I seen him before?" Before then realizing how he was responsible for his death. "Ah, that's the one! I remember now. Good to see he's got his arm back. Ha 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 ha!" Leaving an angered Vegeta in the background who watches on as Tien continues to create an unnecessary scene. Not flustered at all by Tien's show of power though, Nappa then confronts Tien directly and says, "Hey, Three Eyes! Looks like you got your arm back. Good for you, kid. What was your name again?" Tien, now angered by Nappa's lack of remorse, yells, "My name is Tien, and on that fateful day over 20 years ago, not only did I lose my life trying to destroy you, I watched as you destroyed my best friend. I don't care if the others accept you. I will never forgive you, and today I'm going to show you what that pain felt like. Ready yourself, you Saiyan monster! Follow me to fight somewhere else if you have any respect for this planet, or die right here." Nappa is briefly shocked by Tien's words, but is still not fazed, and then looks back at Vegeta to get his opinion, asking, Vegeta? I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. I can't kill him again, right?" but Vegeta just more or less shoos him off, saying, "Go, Nappa! You two need to talk anyway." And at least he wants to talk the way Saiyans have been talking for their entire lives. With their fists. Sort it out and meet me back here after. Nappa then smiles, responding, "Got it. Hopefully this doesn't take too long. I'm starving." And then flies off to catch up with Tien. Leaving Vegeta with a smile, thinking, this should be good. Meanwhile, Shenron is waiting and asks,
I have revived your friend and brought him to Earth. So what is your final wish?
Vegeta then thinks for a moment and smiles before saying, "Shenron, I want you to make Nappa as strong as me." What? Immediately, every Z fighter left on Kami's lookout expresses their shock in unison as they are all completely taken aback by Vegeta's sudden wish. Piccolo yells at Vegeta saying, "What are you doing, Vegeta? You're going too far! It's one thing to bring him back, but you didn't discuss that part of the plan with us at all." However, Shenron interrupts and replies saying,
Unfortunately, your power is too great. I do not have the facilities to make that happen.
And Vegeta, disregarding the others' reactions, just smiles and says, "I thought so." As a result, the rest of the Z fighters let off a sigh of relief, with Krillin in particular saying, "Damn, Vegeta, you really had me going there. Who knew you were such a comedian?" But Vegeta then continues and demands from the dragon, "Well, in that case, I wish for Nappa to be incredibly easy to train. The most naturally gifted Saiyan in history." The Z fighters all again look on confused, wondering what will even happen with such a strange wish. Before Shenron then replies,
Your wish shall be granted.
His eyes then glow, and he soon then vanishes off, with all the Dragon Balls splitting off in different directions. Goku, who is even more puzzled than the rest, then questions Vegeta, asking what that was even about. The most naturally gifted Saiyan in history? What are you planning, Vegeta? And Vegeta then explains, You've always been asking for a new training partner ever since I had Bulla. Who better than another Saiyan? One that will easily reach our level with the right training, if this wish has worked as planned." Huh? Really? Of course, Goku is shocked at Vegeta's idea and questions further, "No way! You really think that big guy could do it? I gotta say, he never really impressed me that much. He's not even a Super Saiyan." But Vegeta replies in confidence, however, "Listen, Kakarot, you are a low-class warrior and managed to come this far. Don't underestimate the ability of an elite god like Nappa. His bloodline is the best of the best, just short of mine. And with the right training, he should be able to reach the same levels as us, or at the very least, the same level as me. He's been weak his entire life and only served either me or Frieza as an underling. After over 2 decades in literal hell, I think it's about time he gained some power of his own. And besides, if we ever were to have another Universal Tournament, I'd rather have Nappa on our side than that monster Frieza. Meaning this time, I can kill Frieza and not worry about you reviving him, you idiot." And Goku responds smiling with an arm behind his back, laughing, "So you're still sore about that, aren't you? I knew it." And the scene then changes to the mountains, where Tien and Nappa are getting ready to fight, with Tien staring Nappa down, remarking, "I don't know what you've been doing in hell, But this won't go like the last time we met, monster. That day, I felt the most extreme pain anyone could feel, both physically and mentally. And in your final moments today, I'm going to make sure you know exactly how it felt. And Nappa in response smirks and replies, "Whatever you say, you circus freak, this will be a fine test for my new living body." So our story begins after Nappa and Tien have flown off by themselves and land in the middle of the mountains to sort out their differences. Tien, just like before, still looks on with an intense anger at the smirking Nappa. Tien begins, "Keep smiling, Saiyan. You have no idea about the world of pain I'm going to unleash on you. This is for Chaozu, with over 20 years of interest." Which Nappa then just shoots back with, "Chaozu? Who was that again? The little weirdo with all the makeup? The one who killed himself? Don't tell me you blame me for that. I hardly did a thing. And next thing I knew, poof, he was gone." "Shut it! You know who I'm talking about. Your silly attempts at triggering me won't work anymore. All you're here for is a beatdown." While Nappa replies, "Come on, Three Eyes. What is this really all about? Are you jealous of my Tash? You know this all happened decades ago. I'm completely different now, just as Vegeta said. The old me would have wiped you and your friends out one by one with ease as soon as I saw you again. But here I am at peace, letting you all survive, and look how you're treating me. Seems you Earthlings are more heartless than even us Saiyans." But Tien, who doesn't find any of this funny, just quips back seriously, "Wipe all of us out one by one? You deluded little pig. You really have no idea the leaps and bounds we have come since you last saw us, have you? It's easy to see, since you didn't age in hell, you're just as ugly as before. But you forget, we Earthlings can sense power levels without a scouter, and it's shocking to know that you're pretty much just as weak as you used to be. How pathetic." "What?" Suddenly, Nappa's cocky demeanor then vanishes as he questions, You can sense my energy without a scouter? Don't make me laugh. You have no idea about the power I've gained surviving in the midst of hell. It's a different kettle of fish to the pathetic peacefulness of this planet, you fool. I'm practically a Super Saiyan now, kid." For once, you actually said something worth laughing at. You, a Super Saiyan? You know as well as I do you're nowhere near that power. But enough talk. If you're so confident that you can wipe me out, come at me just like you did all those years ago. Go back to being that monster just for today, and see firsthand where that gets you this time. And the now angered Nappa, tired of Tien's mocking, just responds, "You really have gotten way too big for your boots since I died, haven't you, three-eyed freak? I guess since I have your permission, then I can let loose for a bit. I'll be sure to show you once more the power of a Saiyan!" Immediately powering up to his full strength before a motionless Tien. Tien, then with a look of complete calm and quiet confidence, then just tightens his fist behind his back, while the enraged Nappa yells, "Keep talking to me like that after you take this!" Throwing his fist at full power at Tien, but ultimately having it stopped with ease with one palm by Tien, who is still yet to change his facial expression. Eventually, however, the events bring out a smile in Tien, as he then lets out provokingly, This is what you think is a Super Saiyan? If that's the case, I must be using Ultra Instinct right now. To which a completely triggered Nappa responds, "What? Ultra who? Tch, you must have got lucky stopping that one. But if you think that's all I've got, you've got another thing coming!" Immediately launching into a barrage of punches, but yet again with no sign of effort, Tien parries and immobilizes each and every attack, still with a smile on his face. But enough is eventually enough, and Tien parries before punching Nappa straight on the nose, sending Nappa flying at top speed into a nearby mountain. What did he hit me with? It was so fast and so strong. That was from that freak? No way. How could he have become this strong? Or have I somehow just gotten much weaker in hell? Damn it! Slamming his fist into the ground in rage, Nappa then continues, "This doesn't make any sense! I'm an Elite Saiyan! Only second to Vegeta! There's no way in hell that this Earthling bests me! No way at all! It must have been a fluke! The last time I saw him, he was screaming in pain like a little girl! And this time, it will be no different! I'm going to make sure to rip off the exact same arm! Just you wait and see, you weird circus act! Huh? But as Nappa gets up and looks around, Tien is no longer visible or in his line of sight, and he comments, "What the? He vanished! Don't tell me he has that same technique Kakarot has! Or did he just run away? Damn it! Wish I had my scouter right about now!" But suddenly from the distance above, a familiar voice calls out, "Hey Baldy, I'm over here." What? And just like that, Nappa turns around and sees far in the sky a ready for violence Tien, commenting to himself, "So he didn't run, but why all the way up there? You're just wasting my time at this point, punk! Get back down here and fight like a real man! You hear me? Get down here!" But Tien, just looking down, responds, "No thanks, I'm all good over here, and you're just perfect in that spot over there. Don't move now, this will all be over in a flash. Goodbye, you monster!" Huh? What does he mean it's over? What's that fool going to do from all the way over there? But as Nappa ponders, Tien slowly gets Nappa within the sights of his hands for a very familiar technique we all know. Tri-beam cannon! What is that? That power and speed! I can't do anything. I'm done for! Sorry, Vegeta. And instantly there is a humongous explosion that is let off from the power of the almighty Tri-beam, one that hits directly on the unsuspecting Saiyan. And watching above as the smoke begins to dissipate, Tien thinks to himself, "The fool was too slow to even know what was going on. That was even easier than when I hit Cell. At least he put up a fight." But a sweat drop then appears on his face as he continues, "Ironically, I had to use a lot more energy in order to restrain myself. He should still be alive, just barely. That's the only way he could experience the same pain we felt back then." And below Tien is a perfect triangular hole, created by his now perfected tri-beam technique, miles deep with no sign of Nappa yet. Eventually, Tien, knowing the battle is over, then lets out a sigh and says, "Phew, this was a weight off my shoulder. A martial arts master should not let his emotions sway his actions. My students would be ashamed. But this Saiyan, he had it coming." I guess you could say this was me teaching him a free lesson. He now knows what it was like for us to be powerless. But this is as far as I need to go. At this point, it would be embarrassing to beat him any further. He really has barely progressed in power over the years. But as Tien gloats and pats himself on the back, a mysterious hand grabs onto a piece of rubble. And inside the triangular crater, a brutally damaged Nappa lies just barely alive, just as Tien had predicted. He remains in complete silence. Until suddenly, his heart begins to thump, louder and louder, and his eyes suddenly open, pupilless. Rage, and now with strange yellow and black eyes, Nappa screams in anger, and a bright and powerful yellow aura shoots from the crater, completely taking off guard Tien, who reacts, "Huh? What now? What's happening to him?" And with that, both eyes of Nappa now open, with those same yellow and black eyes. The new Nappa lets out, "This is not over! Three eyes!" Roaring at the top of his voice as a massive aura exudes from him, destroying what was left of his armor. Bulked up and his muscles bulging with veins, just as Vegeta's wish had granted, Ikari Nappa has been born. Huh? What the? Suddenly, every single one of the Z-Fighters is alarmed at the sudden increase in power they sense, with Vegeta commenting, "So, it begins." And Goku commenting, "This power, it's strange. I feel like I've sensed this before." While Yamcha says, "Hey guys, you still sure this was a good idea?" And Krillin responds, "I don't think Goku was ever going to have a good idea, Yamcha. I hope Tien's going to be okay." While an infuriated Piccolo yells, "Damn it! I knew this would happen! If he makes one wrong move, I'll finish him right there and then! Got it, Vegeta?" While Gohan finally chips in, "What is this? This can't be a Super Saiyan, can it?" Krillin then continues with a nervous face saying, "Oh jeez, what have you got us into, guys? I think this might have been a mistake. You sure you don't want to step in?" But at first unbothered Goku just responds, "Oh come on Krillin, relax. You know this is still nowhere near what we've had to face before. Even Cell was a bigger threat. One thing that's confusing me right now though is, I kind of thought he was weaker too, but I guess he must have been hiding his power level from me." Huh? Wait a second. The wish! Don't tell me. But suddenly a wave of shock riddles Goku's body as he comes to a realization. Vegeta! This is your fault. His power must be increasing because of the wish you made. He's getting stronger every second. Tien could be in trouble now. To which Vegeta then immediately just breaks out into laughter saying, "Ha ha ha ha! Looks like my wish is indeed starting to work already. Nappa is finally tasting some long-awaited power, and deservedly so. But I see no reason why you're worrying. Sure, he might hurt that three-eyed mutant, but he's nothing compared to us. Let them have their fun. I'll step in if either of them is about to die. Don't you worry." Whatever power this is Nappa is using, it's increased his power tenfold. But he's no Super Saiyan yet. Let's see what this Tien fellow of yours can actually do. But Gohan, looking on disappointingly, says, "This isn't funny, Vegeta. Mr. Tien is our friend, and I won't let him get hurt. I'll be the one to stop things if Nappa gets any stronger." To which Vegeta responds, "Tough words, kid. I guess that would be a nice change from how you ran away the last time you fought him." Before Vegeta then places 2 fingers on his head and continues, "Do as you please, but I'm done waiting around here. Now that the wish is in full effect, there's no way I'm missing this." And just like that, Vegeta instant transmissions away to the battle. "Hey, wait, Vegeta! We're not done here!" And just like that, following Vegeta's lead, Goku too then instant transmissions to the battlefield. Vegeta arrives first, quietly hiding himself behind a rock, with Goku arriving soon after. But as they get closer to the action, Vegeta initially shushes Goku, saying, "Be quiet, you clown! I don't want them to realize we're here. I want them to go all out and see just how strong Nappa has truly become." But as they get a closer look at Nappa in his new form, both of their faces quickly turn to shock. Nappa? As they stare at the now yellow and black pupils of Nappa, Vegeta can't help comment, "This cannot be! That form, isn't that the same as Broly's?" With Goku adding, "Yeah, you're right, Vegeta. There's no doubt about it. That's the same, alright." Meanwhile, Tien, who has still no clue about what's happening to Nappa, looks on cautiously and says, "So, you finally stopped playing around. I was wondering how it would even be possible for a Saiyan to be that weak. I'm not sure what you just did, but now you might actually be a tiny challenge." But a smirking Nappa, amused at Tien's confidence, responds, "A challenge? The lack of respect here is disgusting, I have to say. Even I don't know what this power is yet, but I have to thank you for volunteering to be my body bag to test it out. I'm surprised you haven't run away already. After all, you are capable of sensing my new power level, aren't you? This power running through my veins is at least 10 times stronger than where I was a moment ago. You still have time to stop this and leave here alive. Final warning." To which Tien just smiles back confidently and says, 10 times, you said? Yeah, that sounds about right. Definitely an impressive transformation, worthy of a Saiyan. But you know, you guys aren't the only ones that can increase their power levels instantly. Allow me to show you one other way. A way I think you're already familiar with. And after saying this, Tien's power begins to slowly spike as he reaches deep inside for an unknown power. Kaioken times 10! And just like that, Tien powers up with a now crimson red aura. That red key! That's what Kakarot used when he broke my back! Damn these Earthlings! Where do they learn this crap? While Goku, who is somewhat surprised with Tien, comments with a smile, "Ha! So Tien's not just been teaching, he's been keeping up with his training too. Now, this could get interesting." While the fired up Tien Shinhan finally says, "Stop staring at me and come at me, Saiyan! The real fight starts now!" So our story continues with Tien having just shockingly powered up to Kaioken times 10, with his muscles now having bulged to new limits and covered in veins. But equally as roided up, Nappa too watches on with a smile, and there's something a little unnerving about it. He seems completely unshaken by Tien, as though Tien was nothing but a mere ant who could do him no harm whatsoever, regardless of his improvements, saying, "This is interesting, I must say. For you may now look like how Kakarot did back then, but you're still just a weird-looking human. Maybe if you were a Saiyan like him, I'd quiver a bit. But as you are, you're still nothing to me, Three Eyes! Give it up!" Tien, though, just smiles back, amused at Nappa's words. His voice is calm and collected as he says, "Ha! While you're usually wrong on so many accounts, today you're actually right in the fact that yes, I'm not Goku, but that just means I can use this technique in a completely different way to how he used it on you. One that you've never seen before, Nappa. One that you are completely unprepared to handle. Now look to your right." Huh? Nappa's eyes bulge in confusion. He has no idea what Tien is talking about. Not knowing what this means, he responds saying, "What did you say, Baldy? My right?" And then proceeds to slowly turn until... From out of nowhere, Nappa is immediately punched in the face by another Tien. The hit, of course, completely blindsides Nappa, who was too slow to put up even any kind of defense to it, sending him flying, with the power from the punch propelling him through the air until he crash lands in a nearby mountain. But Nappa is a formidable foe. It will take much more than a well-timed surprise punch to topple him. Immediately still sat in rubble, he mutters angrily, "Psh, now that was dirty, Three Eyes. I didn't know you wanted to fight like that." He eventually grabs the floor and gets back on his feet, but shockingly when he looks up, he notices the two Tiens standing side by side. He peers at them as though he were going mad. He begins to question them. "What the? Am I seeing this right? There's two of these damn freaks now! You've gotta be kidding me! What is this? Some kind of family reunion? Let me guess. You two think you're worthy to challenge me." But the original Tien just smirks and responds, "Ha! You Saiyans really are all as dumb as each other. And just when I thought Goku was the pinnacle. Allow me to be your teacher for the day, you big oaf. This is called multiform technique, something you'll rarely ever see Goku do. But this is one of my signature techniques. Consider it an honor to be alive again to see it." And at first, Nappa is angered by Tien's words, before suddenly, he spits on the floor as if controlling his rage, and subtly, a smile too forms on his face as aura begins to seep from his skin, and he says, "Multi what now? Please, spare me your ridiculous words, you freak. I couldn't care less whether there were one of you or a million of you. It would change absolutely nothing. You're still a weakling, and you'll always be a weakling. If anything, destroying you twice will be twice the fun." A big grin on his face, Nappa instantly begins powering up once more, and seemingly the very fabric of reality itself begins to tremble. The air grows in intensity, the whole ground begins to shake and break wide open, and it feels as though Nappa is about to split the earth down the middle. Whoa! Even Goku is alarmed, impressed even, as not even in his wildest dreams did he expect Nappa to possess such a tremendous amount of power. Goku says, "His power level is going up again. This is absolutely crazy. I didn't know he had it in him. Just how far will it go, Vegeta? But Vegeta is completely different to Goku, with even a signature cocky smile forming. Calm and collected, even though Nappa is standing before them and powering up to dangerous levels. He looks on at Goku and says, "Getting scared, Kakarot? You want to run away and hide? Give me a break. What else did you think was going to happen? This is the power expected of a Saiyan elite, and I'm sure Nappa is just getting started. So good luck to your little friend. I give him credit for mastering something like Kaioken with his earthling body. But it's about time he learned why the Saiyans were once the most feared warrior race in the entire universe." Tien and Nappa scream ready for blood and war, instantly clashing together with force. 2 Tiens versus 1 Nappa, with the Saiyan commenting, "So it's 2-on-1, is it? Hardly fair, but I guess you need all the help you can get." The 3 of them continue to collide like a tsunami wave crashing onto rocks, and the air is electric as the 3 of them trade blows in all directions. Over and over, each warrior lands blows on each other, but it soon becomes clear one in particular is losing this battle. Soon it becomes too much for Tien's clone. With his power split, the second Tien falls to the floor unconscious, much to the shock of Tien's Shinhan. Damn it! Tien is surprised at how everything is unfolding. Never in a million years did he imagine that this is how things would turn out after all these years. He's struggling here and he doesn't like it, not one bit. He howls up in frustration and thinks to himself, "Damn, didn't expect him to keep up like this. Of course, I knew he could fight, but not like this. If I don't win this soon, my Kaioken will destroy my body. I need to finish him now, or else I'll be the one that's finished for good." Nappa though seems happy with himself as he rushes in at the remaining Tien, a glint of happiness in his eyes as his smile beams, thinking, "Not even double teaming me could beat me, you rat. Do you have any idea the kind of fighter I am? What I'm capable of? You picked the wrong guy to fight. This is the day that you die, Three Eyes." Tien watches on as this brute steamrolls towards him, and he knows he's running out of options. He knows that his time is almost up. If he's going to do something about this, he's got to do it now. And without a word more, he throws his hands out before his face, stretches out his fingers and yells, "Solar Flare!" From him now erupting an enormous ball of light that turns brighter and brighter into a supernova as it begins to blind Nappa. There's nothing Nappa can do to stop its effect. He covers his burning eyes, screaming in pure agony, yelling, "Ah! It burns! My eyes! What have you done, you freak? I can't see anything!" But during the chaos and distraction, the second Tien takes advantage of this and flies back to the original Tien, where he fuses back into his body, finally making Tien whole again. Tien then breathes out and says, "I don't have any room for error. I can't make any mistakes. I'm going to need everything I have to win this. If I'm gonna pull this off, I'll need to do that technique." And suddenly, the muscles on Tien's back begin to move and swell with powerful energy. His whole body begins to transform, his veins and his muscles contracting and bulging with energy within until eventually, Tien shockingly shoots out 2 extra arms that begin to grow and bulge with muscular intensity, muttering in pain, "It's over, Nappa! Kaioken times 20! powering up even further and yelling as now for sure his body is pushed to the very limits of human physiology. Huh? Tien? What? Nonsense. All this time? That Earthling was hiding this kind of power? But while Vegeta is less shocked, Tien had something like this up his sleeve, Goku is immediately concerned, trying to talk some sense into him. Tien, listen to me! This is insane! What are you trying to prove? Don't push your body too hard, or you could die! Kaioken times 20 is way too much! It's not worth it! Stop this madness before it's too late, Tien! But now pumped up to full power, Tien begins wildly beating down on the blinded Nappa, brutally striking and pummeling him from all directions, while the Saiyan remains helplessly defenseless. All the while Tien yells, "Ah!" Eventually, the assault ends with Nappa being uppercutted into the sky by Tien, instantly sending the lunking Saiyan far into the sky to the point of looking like a mere ant. With his target now where he wants, Tien calmly raises all of his four arms, thinking, easy does it, time to finish this. And in stark contrast, suddenly a rage comes over Tien and he screams, "This is it! This is the end for you, Saiyan! I'll never forgive what you did!" Quad beam attack! Immediately blasting off an insanely large and powerful beam of ki that far surpasses the tri-beam before it. Within nanoseconds, the flying Nappa is blasted in the back and propelled like a rocket straight into the atmosphere, now just looking like a star in the sky, never to be seen again. Sensing the fight is now over, Tien begins to power down, his chest rising and falling rapidly, totally out of breath. With his energy gone, he can do nothing but fall to his knees. As he struggles to catch his breath, he says, "I did it! I finally did it!" And as he looks from below, now alone on the battlefield, he continues, "Over 20 years later, I showed him what I'm truly capable of, what an Earthling can do. I may have gone too far and killed him, but that scum didn't deserve to be here anyway. He didn't deserve any mercy from me. As far as I'm concerned, I had no choice." Tien now relaxed, then turns to Goku knowing he would be disappointed and says, "I'm sorry, Goku. I know you probably hate what I've done, but I had to. You weren't there to experience the kind of pain he put me and Chaozu through." But curiously, Goku isn't really listening. His attention is elsewhere. He looks up the sky with his arms folded and says, "Sorry for what, Tien? I don't think this battle is quite over just yet." Huh? Tien is understandably in shock. He's confused at what Goku's even suggesting. He says, What? What do you mean this isn't over yet, Goku?" Before turning to the sky himself. Meanwhile, high up in the sky, almost in space, is Nappa as he's still being pushed by the beam, but his body is still intact. For a moment, it seems he is truly lifeless until... With a roar, Nappa's eyes violently open. Now with green eyes and blonde eyebrows, his moustache forcefully growing out into a golden beard. His muscles retch and bulge at every corner as he continues to growl with gritted teeth. 3 eyes! Elite Saiyan Nappa has finally become a Super Saiyan. With a thunderous roar, Pure energy bursts forth from his body as he yells with a proud grin. Finally! Finally! Who knew a fight with such a freak was all I needed to become a Saiyan of legend? This is perfect! And in one fell swoop, now as if Tien's incredible attack was child's play, Nappa effortlessly knocks away Tien's Kibi. Before rushing down maniacally at even greater speed than he was shot off into the sky. His eyes deadlocked in on Tien's Shinhan as he screams, "Time to say goodnight, Three Eyes! You have no idea what you've done now, do you? You've awoken a true Super Saiyan!" Tien, meanwhile, stares up from below with shock and horror, muttering, "No! How could he survive that? How can he still have all this energy?" But at this point, he's so damaged and weakened from their fight that he can't do anything but accept what's coming. In his final moments, he just stands there, looking above in fear, thinking, "Is this really Nappa? How does he keep on getting stronger and stronger? Gave him everything I had. Everything. He should have been destroyed. Maybe he was on Goku and Vegeta's level after all." Goku, though, watching on, now finally fears for Tien. Fighting him earlier on was one thing, but Nappa under this new transformation is on a whole different level to Tien. "No, this isn't good, Vegeta! Your wish has made him a Super Saiyan already! He'll kill Tien at this rate! I've got to stop this!" But immediately, the cloth of Goku's clothes is grabbed, as Vegeta forcefully stops his intervention, saying, "Stop with your nonsense, Kakarot! This is not one of your earthling friends! This is Nappa, a Saiyan! This is his fight and his alone! It is not yours to intervene in whenever you want with your weakling mentality! Your bold earthling friend started this fight of his own accord, and he will deal with the consequences himself too. I warn you, Kakarot, take a step further and I'll do everything in my power to stop you. Leave these men to handle their own fights instead of coddling them like babies. For once, stop trying to be the main character and let them be the warriors they truly are." Goku, stunned by both Vegeta's words and threat of escalation, doesn't like what he hears, but he knows Vegeta is right. He finds himself with no choice but to remain silent for now. But Nappa at this point has travelled so fast in the midst of their chat that he has already landed straight on Tien. The end of one of Earth's greatest warriors has seemingly come. Until, that is, the smoke dissipates and Tien is still visible, wide-eyed in shock, but without another scratch on him, as he mutters, What happened? Is that you?" While Nappa reacts completely differently, shouting, "What? Who the hell is this? What gives you the right to interrupt my finishing blow? Do you have any idea who I am, brat?" And standing there calmly, stopping Nappa with just one hand, is Gohan, staring deep into Nappa's eyes and letting out, "That's enough. Your fight is now with me, Nappa." But that was it for today's video, guys, and if you made it this far, leave me a hashtag Gohan in the comments down below and let me know what you want to happen in part 4 of this story going forward. Will Gohan be enough, or will Nappa ascend again? If you want to fund another chapter, just support me on my Patreon for as little as $3 and receive a ton of manga goodies in return. And if you want to just watch more of my content, just click on one of these two videos on the right now. Until next video, guys, cheers.